Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today will be a special video as we jump into the time machine and travel back a whole 24 years to the year 2000. As we take a look at this, from Toybiz, we have the live action Tyler Mane as Sabretooth, as he appears in the Fox Studios X-Men The Movie. Okay, so with Deadpool and Wolverine coming out in theaters, I think like a month ago, and it was just released on streaming this week. This week is actually the week of October 4th, 2024. I found this at one of my local collectible toy stores, and I could not resist pulling the trigger on it. It was only $8, so I'm like, oh my god, this is a steal. And I have such fond memories of this toy line. Back in the day, I didn't buy everything. I just bought the key characters that I wanted. So when this first line came out, I bought Professor X, I bought Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, and Storm. So I never had the Sabretooth figure. But seeing as how Tyler Mane reprised his role as Sabretooth in the new Deadpool film, I'm like, I need this. This looks like it's in scale with the modern Marvel Legends figures. And I think it's going to be a great proxy until Hasbro gives us their version. The year 2000 was fantastic. Toy companies did not skimp out on the packaging. This thing is like overkill. They give us everything. They give you this cool 3D X as a display base. The package design, it's this crazy like labyrinth of like cardboard folds and bends, because this thing is like it's so impressive. Nowadays package design, it's just like a flat card back or like a square box. This thing, it's like insane, and I can really appreciate the effort that the graphic designers went to present this action figure. Because Toybiz knew what was up. They had the license to the X-Men toys, and with the movie coming out, keep in mind this was the year 2000. We didn't have too many comic book movies like we do nowadays. Back then, the big comic book movie was probably Batman 89, and then Blade, and then we had the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. But prior to the Spider-Man films, we had X-Men, and it was fantastic. Wonderful portrait here of Tyler Mane as Sabretooth, and it's kind of cool that they credit the actor. In terms of accessories, you got an additional action figure. You didn't get like some sort of weird like display base or maybe like a weapon. Instead, they gave you a complete figure as an accessory. That was insane. Nowadays we don't get that as often as we should. The first wave was insane also. They gave us so many figures. You had Logan, you had Storm, you had Magneto, Rogue, Professor X, Toad, Wolverine, Sabretooth, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Mystique. And that was all in one drop. Nowadays, with Marvel Legends, like if a film comes out, unless they have a dedicated budget line, for the Marvel Legends, they'll just give us maybe like 3 or 4 characters with the first wave and just draw out the characters for maybe the first year or even more than that. But back then, they just dropped everything on you. And keep in mind, besides these figures, there were play sets, there were vehicles, the whole kit and caboodle. You also got a lot of text back then. The packages were very copy heavy. You had a nice description of the X-Men universe. We talk about Sabretooth over here. The figure has claw swiping action and a knocked out security guard. A nice meaty bio on Sabretooth. And then here's the play features. You can grab his legs, and then he can swipe at the security guard, knocking him over. And the security guard even has a play feature where we could turn a dial on his back to retighten and reset his positioning. Alright, so let's get started and take this guy out. I do want to keep this crazy display base, so I'm going to try to be careful not damage it. So this is neat. It's plastic. If you're a cosplayer, maybe repurpose this as an X-Men belt buckle or badge. Alright, so I was kind of worried because the bubble was yellowing, so that kind of indicates sometimes sun damage, and I was kind of afraid that the figure was going to be sun damaged, but that's not the case. The security guard comes with his hat, which is cool. Sabretooth's a nice, big, meaty figure. Okay, so I don't know what's going on here. He's like, it's almost like a Pinocchio kind of puppet. And then the instructions said turn the dial on the back to like reset him. Oh, oh wow, that's wild. So how does that work? All right, so yeah, it's a funky play feature. I'm not sure if it's practical, but I do appreciate the ingenuity behind it. Let's get all this garbage out of the way. All right, so let's take a look at the weird security guard first, just because I'm really curious about this guy. Okay, so as you can see, his limbs are held together with like a string and rope right there. And then there's the dial. So when you twist the dial, it kind of retightens everything. If you don't want anything to do with the play feature, chances are just cut off the strings and just like glue the guy together and just turn him into a mini statue. But it's weird. It's wild. He comes with his little policeman's cap, and it comes off pretty easy as well. Yeah, it's a weird play feature, but like I said, I do appreciate the fact that he gave us this. It's weird because it almost feels like more thought went into designing this guy than Sabretooth himself. But I think you press the chest and maybe he falls apart. Yeah, he does. So that's the swiping action. So if you want, you can pretend that Sabretooth attacks the guy and essentially just like... Now he won't go back together. All right, I'll have to figure this out later. He's not resetting for some reason. The hat here is cool. I think you can put it on other figures. Here's Vulcan. Will it fit? It might fit on some characters, but who knows? But let's get to the main event. Let's talk about Sabretooth. Excellent figure. The likeness of Tyler Mane, it's all right. I'd say it's much more of an approximation. I wasn't sure if Toybiz during this time period was using any of the real scan technology that was prevalent during the early 2000s, like through companies like Gentle Giant. But overall, the presentation's fantastic. The paint application's nice. I like the sculpting on his clothes. It's all beat up, torn, and tattered. You have some nice shading, some weathering effects, so it looks really worn and beat up, as is his pants. The stitching is really cool. I like the crispness of the sculpting. And is his waist spring-loaded? What's the feature on this guy again? Give me a sec. Alright, so what's this guy supposed to do? Grab Sabretooth around his legs. Squeeze his legs for a claw swiping action. Yeah, so unfortunately it looks like it kind of works a little bit. So if you twist him toward his left, as far as it'll go, don't twist it too hard. And if you squeeze his legs, his arms kind of swipe a little bit like that. So it's not as impressive as I was hoping, but nonetheless, it's a great display figure, and its size is considerably taller than I thought it'd be. He comes in at a little under 7.5 inches, so he will scale next to a modern Hasbro Marvel Legends. As you see here, here he is next to X-Men Vulcan. So he's really in line with a modern figure. Here he is next to the Eddie Brock Venom. Again, the scale's just right. So If you want a tailor-made Sabretooth for your modern collection, until Hasbro gives us one, I think this is a great proxy. The articulation, it's very standard for back then. You know, the arms just kind of go up. Single pinned elbows. His waist is articulated, but it only turns towards his right. And then the swiping action isn't as cool as I thought it was going to be. And I kind of feel like if I push too hard, it might break. That could also be maybe due to age. You know, keep in mind this is almost 25 years old. Maybe the springs aren't working as they should. His legs are articulated. They don't really kick up all that high, though. This one doesn't really want to kick up at all. Articulated knees, articulated ankles. So overall, it's a nice figure. And here he is next to the Wolverine, which came out that same year. So we have Logan and we have Sabretooth. They could go at it. Or if you want to recreate that scene in Wolverine and Deadpool, you know, this is the way to go for now until, you know, we get a proper modern figure. But overall, it's nice. The sculpting is fantastic. The attention to detail, it's really well done, especially for the year 2000. And it's just a great figure overall. I'm glad I bought this for $8. This was a steal. The gimmicky security guard's a different story. You know, I do appreciate the effort, but the gimmick's not working. And after one use, I can't get this guy back together again. So, kind of disappointed in that, but still a great figure. Right, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I will see you at the next one. All right, later.